Hello everybody, I'm MTG Nerd Girl, and today we're going to be doing a draft walkthrough of the new set Brothers War. So far I've been impressed with all the different draftable archetypes, and each color can be drafted differently each time you play it. Today I'm hoping you and I can draft something super fun to play as we explore the format. Let's go ahead and jump into the draft. I don't know about you guys, but I am always very excited for Pack 1 Pick 1. Now, this pack unfortunately doesn't have anything super exciting. The Fateful Handoff is a rare that isn't anything that I'm going to be first picking by any means, but the uncommons, again, kind of hit or miss. Key to the City can be good in the right deck. The rest of our uncommons are not anything I'm looking to first pick. So when in doubt, I go straight to the removal, and Overwhelming Remorse is going to be a pretty solid pickup for a pack 1. It's not exciting, it's not a rare bomb, but definitely a good start. Picking up removal is also very good because it allows you to kind of go into just about anything, and it's one of the better things to splash as well. So you have a lot of options when you pick up something like Overwhelming Remorse for your pack 1 pick 1. Unfortunately, pick 2, there's really nothing super exciting. There is the Gix Caress, which is a solid card you can play in any black deck, but not something we want to be picking up quite so early. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Dragon Engine, which I think is the most powerful card in the pack, and I think black-red is one of my favorite archetypes in the format. So let's just go ahead and see if we can pick up this dragon and make it work. Pick 3, I'm not any happier than I was in pick 2. This actually seems worse. There's nothing in black or red that makes me very happy to pick it up. So I'm going to go with one of the 2 cards that I think is the most powerful. We might not play him if we decide to stick in those Rakdos colors, but I think the Thopter archetype and the Zephyr Sentinel are very solid cards, and we can go with either one depending which one we think pairs. I'm going to go with the Zephyr Sentinel just because I think it is one of the stronger 2-drops for blue. I think it is very, very good. And again, we're still open. It's very early in the pack, so who knows where we'll end up. Oh boy, this pack is not getting any easier. There are a couple of things that we're a little interested in. None of the red is very exciting. Black, certainly nothing there for us. So I think the pick is going to be the Sigil of Valor. It is good in creature-heavy decks. It can go in just about any deck, but again, it feels pretty bad to be taking it this early when we aren't necessarily in a creature-heavy deck or color pairing. But hopefully it's only up from here, and I don't know, maybe there is a little bit going on here. I think the Wing Commando is again one of those better blue cards, so I'm really starting to consider shifting into blue. If we wanted to possibly go Killzone Acrobat, that would be an option, but I think Wing Commando is definitely the strongest card in the pack, and I'm still very much open to shifting colors. Maybe we end up in some sort of blue-black color. Hey, look at that. We have the Evangel. We have the Dimir sort of uncommon signpost card, which is definitely a great option to build around, and it looks like blue is going to be our open color. Now that we are thinking Dimir is our option, Disfigure and Trench Stalker are 2 of the cards I'm very, very interested in. Before picking up any sort of payoff card, I'm always going to solidify all of my removal. So Disfigure would be my choice here, but later in the packs, I might be more interested in a Trench Stalker, depending on how much we end up with the blue-black archetype. Pick 8 here, we actually have a couple of interesting decisions. There's the Battlefield Butcher, which is just a very solid uncommon for black, but we have another Trench Stalker and a Curate. Both of these cards sort of trigger that double draw mechanic that Dimir really wants to be playing with. Ultimately, I'm going to take the most powerful card, and I'm going to take the Battlefield Butcher, but I could see a good argument for either the Curate or the Trench Stalker. Pick 9, we're getting towards the tail end of the pack, and there's definitely nothing exciting here. I'm a fan of the supply drop, but Dimir's not really where we're interested in doing that. Swiftgear Drake is playable, but you know, we don't have a ton of 4s yet, so the Retrieval Agent is a solid curve-filling pick that I hope we don't have to use, but we'll take it here as a cheap pickup. Continuing on for pick 10, we have the Gix Caress and the Urza's Rebuff. I'm really happy with either of these, but I'm going to go ahead and take the counter just because I think I might want to have the option to be a little bit more controlling. A late 2-drop Gixian Infiltrator is a nice little grab here at a super late stage in the pack. And nothing going on here, so another counterspell. I doubt we would ever make put two in the deck, but always good to have access to it. End of the pack, take the uncommons. They give you a little bit more vault value, always worth considering when there's nothing else to do. And now we're basically just taking anything that we don't really want to see. You don't play in the same pods, but it's definitely better to take the better cards when, there isn't anything for you personally. Oh boy, now we're looking at pack 2, pick 1, and there is a Mishra. I really, at the start of this pack, had my heart set on going red-black, but it wasn't open. But I think maybe, just maybe, we could possibly splash it. There's some Evolving Wilds, some rare duels. It's not great. This isn't a super easy format to be going 3 colors, but I think I'm still pretty happy to take the Mishra here. For collection building purposes, we'll try to splash it, and if we don't get some Evolving Wilds, we're honestly not missing out on a ton. Another Disfigure, an Air Marshal. These are good cards, but if we can run the Mishra, I'll be very happy to do so. Looking at our pick 2 here, we have a Go for the Throat, another fantastic card. Already, our pack 2 is going much better than our pack 1. Cards we might be interested in wheeling would be like Unleash Shell, maybe a Killzone Acrobat, or a Ravenous Gigamole. These cards are all, that sort of 20th to 23rd playable, very good to fill out your curve and get you the extra things you might need for your deck, but very happy for the Go for the Throat. Moving forward, another home run here with Obliterating Blast. There are some fantastic cards that we would love to wheel, like Thraxodemon would be a great card to wheel. The Blitz Automaton, something I would definitely run in a sort of more aggro version of Rakdos. But the Obliterating Bolt is good, and if we wanted to keep the red splash just for the Bolt and the Mishra, I think that is a fantastic gameplay if we can find the Evolving Wilds that we'll need to make that splash happen. Okay. Pick 4 here, a little less exciting, but we do have some great pickable cards here, like the Scrapwork Rager. The Chain Dancer is playable. The Rise to the Ground is a good card, but Scrapwork Rager is where it's going to be for me personally, and it's not particularly close. I'm seeing a lot more red here, and it's making me want to go back towards the Mishra, but keep in mind, red wasn't very open in pack 1, so if you do this and we shift back into Rakdos away from Dimir, we're risking missing out on all the red, but these have just been so powerful. Mishra, Obliterating Bolt, now we're getting the Excavation Explosion. This is some premium removal. I'm really, really happy to be seeing it, but I am worried about pack 3. This one is actually a little bit of a tougher choice. I'm going to go with the Strong Bull here because we only have 1 3-drop so far in our deck. The Mishra's Juggernaut would have been a good choice as well, but let's focus on filling out that curve. But we get rewarded just a little bit here in the very next pick. There is another Mishra's Juggernaut, and some very solid cards for us one way or another. The Engineers is kind of a sad card to see going around this lake because I really love the Arbalest Engineers, but Mishra's Juggernaut can pack a punch and finish up a game quite quickly, especially when you're starting to see as much removal as we are with Go for the Throat and the Excavation Explosion. I'm really excited to see so many black and red cards here at the end of a pack. The Thraxodemon is a really cool card with the Rakdos Sacrifice deck. There are a lot of things that can be sacrificed multiple times and a lot of really cool payoffs with Unearth as well. So very good to pick up that nice 2-drop here. Nothing here that really jumps out at me. Supply Drop is a great curve filler. It's a combat trick that replaces itself, and as long as you're playing cautiously, I think it's definitely worth picking up a few of as a 23rd playable card. Not anything you would need to do. The Dig Site would be also an option, but we're getting kind of close to possibly being 3 colors, so I'm not interested in the colorless land. Pick 10, probably just taking a Killzone Acrobat. It's a curve filler. There is a black sort of automaton creature that you can sack and bring back multiple times, so that's pretty cool, but it is just a straight curve filler. We're gonna probably not play it. The Sky Fisher Spider is a fantastic card, but unfortunately it's just a little bit out of reach. It's interesting to see here in pick 11. I can't believe it's still in the pack, so I'm a little sad we're passing it. Chain Dancer, though, will fill our curve and do exactly what we need it to do. This is a Rise to the Ground. It is a very main deckable card in the format because there are so many very powerful artifacts in the format, and every once in a while you can just hit a Power Stone if you need to redraw, sort of like cycle it, and that's fine. Last 3 cards in the pack, nothing here we're going to be playing or we'll see any play in our deck. Whirler Strike is a little bit closer. This Rakdos deck can often be very aggressive, so we'll take that, but it's likely not going to make it. And of course, a last pick. Now that's a home run. I love seeing pack 3 rares that are just on color, super powerful, and give you a ton of value. Visions of Phyrexia does exactly that, and I'm happy to see it. Definitely going to be my choice for this pick. Cards that I would love to see wheel would be Power Stone Fracture, possibly even the Evolving Wilds, but now I'm getting even happier just being in straight Rakdos. No need for any of the blue cards that we picked up earlier in pack 1. Now pick 2, we do have a lot of options. There is Corrupt, which is a fantastic removal spell if you're leaning heavier into black, but currently I'm split pretty 50-50 between black and red, so I'm a little less interested in that. So we have cards like the Cliffstormer, as well as the Carrion Locust, and the Gigamole. These are all well-rounded cards that we could play, Strong Bull as well. But just taking a quick glance at my curve, and it looks like we only have 1 or 2 2-drop creatures, and that's a little too low for me personally, and I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the Cliffstormer just to fill out that curve. Again, better in a red-leaning deck, but better than nothing also, because we don't want to get ran over by a more aggressive version or maybe a Soldiers type of deck. Now at first glance, this is a little rough because it doesn't look like there's a lot of black or red, but Thran Spider is a fantastic pickup. It's well above rate and it helps ramp you and does a lot of work in the late game. Moving along in the pack, we've got a couple of options. We have Unleash the Shell, which is a solid pickup for removal, but I do think we are still a little light on 2-drops, and the Goring Warplow can be played as a prototype 2-drop, so it sort of fills that curve exactly where we need it to be, and if we happen to draw it late, great, it's upgraded. And we can make some treasures, so that won't be hard to play it for 6 mana. Happy to see this. I was getting a little concerned here with the quality of the cards the last 2 picks, but an Excavation Explosion is fantastic, gives us the treasures that we need, and you can never really have too much removal. Scrapwork Mutt is a card I would love to see wheel, but definitely not going to be taking it over the Explosion. This pick is a little bit of a dud. The Mishra's Research Desk is a decent pickup, but it's not quite in that sort of aggro vein that we want to be doing, and there's also not a ton of benefit for our artifact ETBs. In fact, we actually get more benefits with the Mishra if the artifacts don't actually unearth themselves and they're more powerful on their own. Still a good card. If we have room, we'll play it. Another card we can consider would be the Dig Site. It's a great card to help smooth your draws late in the game and outpace your opponents when needed during any sort of board stall game. But I'm going to take the Mishra Research Desk for some card advantage. And now we're about halfway through the pack, so we're just picking up the last few cards to fill out our deck. Reconstructed Thopter is a card I really enjoy, especially when you can sacrifice it to cards like Thraxodemon and a few other things like the Bone Splinters card. I forget what it's called, the Flowstone Infusion something or other. So the Reconstructed Thopter is definitely a good pickup for me. Some other options like the Kill Zone Acrobat, but we don't have good recursion artifacts anyway. Scrapwork Mutt, however, is a fantastic card. It fills that early 2-drop that we were super worried about at the beginning of the pack. Now I feel like our 2s are very solid. And that's the one I was thinking. Flowstone Fracture would be a great card to pick up when you have cards like Scrapwork Mutt and a few others that we've gotten in the last few picks. So thankfully it feels like the deck is starting to come together. We could take another Strong Bull. Rock Hunter is a 2-drop I'm willing to play if I'm a little on the desperate side, but I think it's just the Gigamole or the Strong Bull here, and it looks like I have more 3s than I do 4s, So let's take the Gigamole. End of the pack here, nothing super exciting. The Ashnod's Intervention. I doubt it's going to see any play in our deck, but we'll pick it up just in case I've got less playables than I think I do. And that is about wrapping up the pack here. We'll just take a Strongbow. I can't imagine these see a ton of play. We don't have the Power Stones to really make that card worth what it wants to be doing. Trench Stalker would have been nice at the beginning of pack 1 when we were looking a little bit more demure. But we have successfully completely pivoted out of that and into the Rakdos deck we initially wanted, which is interesting. So it's super important to read those signals, and I'm glad that we were able to see those red cards coming around in pack 2, because we definitely got rewarded and got a much better deck for it. All right, now we have the slimmed down version of the deck. I removed all of the off-color chaff, and the only thing that's left are the cards that are sort of playable. And I went ahead and took all the cards I ultimately decided to cut and put them onto the right-hand side. The Trench Stalker is not a card that we want to play just because we don't have ways to trigger it, and it just ends up being a 5-mana 4/5. Not a terrible card, but certainly not as good as a lot of the things we've got going on. Moving on, we've got the Killzone Acrobat. We don't have any of the recursion cards that we are really looking for to make this card a staple for our deck. We do have a few things with Unearth, not a ton, but not enough for me to be very happy with this card. Plus, our 3-drop slot looks pretty strong with a Thran Spider, the Bull, the Butcher. Everything looks pretty neat and tidy, so we're going to get rid of that. The Sigil of Valor was actually one of my last choices to remove, and that's because after I cut the rest of the sort of chaff that I wasn't super interested in, we ended up with a creature count of only 14. So this card gets weaker when you have less creatures to attach to it and also less creatures to enable the buff. So it ends up being a pretty medium card in a low creature count. The same thing goes for Whirling Strike, so we're going to go ahead and cut that. The Research Desk I decided to cut because we had other card draw that just seemed much better for us, like Visions of Phyrexia. The Mishra allows you to replay some cards as well. Scrapwork Mutt is a great card for redraw at the end, so you can sort of smooth those late game draws a little bit better. So the desk just didn't seem where I wanted to be. And also the Ashnod's Intervention. Not quite as good unless you have things really worth protecting, and most of our stuff is either Mishra or not worth protecting, so the Mishra sort of protects itself anyway, so we're okay to just cut this as it was already a borderline playable. And that's it. That's 40 cards. We have a great curve. I think we have some pretty powerful stuff, and the thing I'm the most excited about is the amount of removal we have. I'm really happy to see that sort of the colors came together for us. For the sake of time, I went ahead and just blitzed through that deck building process, but I wanted to make sure we got some time to see how the deck actually performed. So let's go ahead and check out some games. This is not a bad hand. I'm pretty happy to keep, both colors, 4 land. I personally like 3 better, but we'll keep this. We need to decide whether we want to cast the War Plow on 2 or save it. I'm on the play, so I think I'm a little more okay to save it. We have 4 mana already, and our deck does make a lot of Power Stones. We have a good 3 and 4, so I'm going to be a little greedy. I think we'll get to 6 pretty easily, and I don't want this to just trade with their random 2-drop. Now the question is do we want our Thopter to trade with the Vanguard? I think the answer is yes. Thopter can come back anytime we want it to. When it attacks, another target creature you control gets bigger. We don't like that. Do we want to just slam Gigamole? Among the cards milled, you get a creature card. Or do we want to just draw? We have another land in hand, so I think I'm okay to Gigamole first. See if we can start getting creatures in the graveyard, mill a bunch of extra lands, which seems great. Get the Thraxo Demon. So far, so good. I like our mana to spell ratio. That card looks large. I don't like that. We are 1 away here from being able to play the War Plow. So I'm just gonna play the Scrapwork Rager. draw a card, and let them hit me for 4. If they play a creature pre-combat, I'm also okay to trade the Gigamole for the 4/4 if they leave themselves open there. Okay. I'm totally fine with you casting that on my weaker creature. No problem. Power Stone, huh? I don't like my combo plays. Like the Thraxodon Demon doesn't, you know, there's nothing else good we can play, so I'm just gonna play the Warplow here. Pretty happy to just keep this as well. We could have played the Warplow earlier and traded with a 4/4, but I don't think we need to. We also have Go for the Throat. We have a lot of removal in our deck. We can throw away the Warplow a little bit more liberally, only because we know we have Mishra, which is kind of cute. I'm gonna take it. So what I want to do, possibly, especially if my opponent's a little bit out of steam here, I would like to recur the Thopter and then Fractal Power Stone to blow up the larger creature. Seems good to me. So we'll go into combat, hit for 2, and we'll just Power Stone on the 4/4, sacrificing the Thopter. I think this is a fine play. The Thopter goes away anyway. We can keep the land in case we find a mutt. I'll just play the Thraxodemon. We could have, instead of using the removal spell in that way, we could have possibly played the demon, waited until we could sacrifice the flyer, play the flyer, sack it, draw a card. I think that would have been okay. Ooh, that thing's large. Our opponent's getting pretty close to out of steam. Think I'm pretty happy to just go for the Throat this. And also to attack for 5. We might decide to sacrifice the Thraxodemon. Sacrifice the Rager to the Thraxodemon, and then bring it back, draw a card, sacrifice it to the Thraxodemon would be kind of cool. I'm also going to play 1 land, just to make sure we're keeping the land high, so we can do some cute tricks with sacrificing an Earth. Ooh, that's a little scary. Now they can give some creatures flying, and we are a little bit behind on life here. But thankfully they don't have anything too scary to start sending at us. So the Vanguard, they'll play an artifact, it'll get +1/+0, it'll gain flying, and that's it. But not too bad, as long as we are starting to catch up here with the Thraxodemon. We can also start killing some of these. Probably going to kill the Foundry, I think, with that. Yep. This is a 4-turn clock, assuming they draw an artifact off the top every turn. I think that's okay. Hey, that's nice. We can actually just play a 5/5. I'm into that. Am I willing to trade this 2 for 1? I believe the answer is yes, because we have the possibility of being able to bring it back. Dragon Engine, it was a great draw. Really stops everything my opponent wants to be doing. They can give a creature flying here, but I will happily put the dragon in front of it and let them use their pumps, just because I think we're, you know, if they're using all of their energy and time to deal with that, we're doing pretty well. If they attack, they have to have something, or they just casted this Unearth card for no reason. That also could be it. Yeah, I think we're okay to just attack. I'm okay to trade just about any of these things. Plus the engine is massive. We just have pumps there. So pretty easy. All right, this looks like a pretty sweet starting hand if you ask me. Both colors, 2-drop, 3-drop. What is not to like here? Other than being on the draw, but that's okay. Hopefully we can make it work. A very aggressive soldier deck from our opponent, unfortunately. Okay, well they missed their curve on 2. That's not to say they might not have a counterspell or something, but this is okay. There's the 2. Okay. Now if they attack with the front line, they can give the paratrooper a bonus, but they're not going to. So we're going to take some slow and steady chip damage. And I'm okay to just excavation here. It's a sorcery speed. Okay. Gains indestructible and hexproof. All right, now we're back in the same spot. Our opponent is very low on cards, and hopefully they can't go too crazy. Oh, now they can give everything flying. They're gonna be able to hit us a little bit harder. We still have the bolt and a little flyer, so that's nice. 3 damage is still not a ton. Ooh, the little Thopter is definitely a nice perk. Next turn I like the engine plus bolt, something along those lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the Thopter and offer trades. I also like the Thopter dying, so we can possibly run it back with the Thraxo Demon, playing it, unearthing it, and sacrificing it to get more card draw. Which I'm a huge fan of. I like drawing cards. Looks like our opponent is indeed heading over to combat. Now they've chosen to, they can pump this. So tap an untapped creature and do the thing. So I'm just gonna block here. This way the Marshal will still die. I'm totally fine with that. We couldn't block the Paratrooper. There's just not enough. They play that, oh, this brings back a thing. Oh, that's really not good for us. Yeah, I think I hate that. Things that give flying are scary. This thing does a bunch of stuff. I hate everything that is currently happening. So we're gonna go here and hope that that's enough. If they want to spend all of their mana to get the Air Marshal in, again, totally okay with that. It's not a lot of damage. It's 4 damage a turn if they play an untapped land here. And we also have the engine that can come down as well. We're several turns away from this, so I'm just gonna play this guy. They only have 1 card in hand. I don't want to play the Thopter yet. I want to make sure we have enough mana to sack him, draw a card, keep our card advantage going. They're flooding out a little bit. So they're going to be able to give something flying, but they can't really attack super well. If they give both flying, I'll be able to trade with only one of them. And they opt to do none of it, which is fine by me. I don't know if they're going to have removal, so we're going to play Juggernaut first. We can go ahead and start pressuring back a bit, which is always very good. Great, they opted to do none of the things. I like that. So Juggernaut must attack. We'll get in some good chip damage here. And I'm just gonna start with the card advantage. No reason not to, I think. That card is really nice. Wow, that card is so nice. But, you know, we're doing okay here. I don't have any other artifacts that can do some chip damage. Target soldier gains flying, so we can't attack with the Thopter. Oh. Huh. I wonder if I should trade the... Probably not, I guess. I'm just gonna block. That's 2. I'm just gonna block here, and I'll pump its ability, make him trade, make him spend the mana on it. No reason for us to take the damage. It's also one less creature they can give flying in a following turn. Hey, that's a card. That's a fantastic card. I'm a big fan. Great. We'll also play a Mishra. And we'll go in with the Juggernaut as planned. I'm totally fine with this. Okay, top decked a little creature there. Nothing too crazy. Very, very happy getting the Visions of Phyrexia out. It's a great way to sort of solidify this nice fat lead that we have. I'm gonna draw first. We know what our opponent has, so that's fine. Mishra forcing our opponents to sacrifice permanents to touch our stuff is really cool. Wow, they're choosing to just continue to take it. That is fine by me. We will have a nice wide board swing, Dragon's Breath, and a drain, everything we could want next turn. Yep. Nothing has trample as far as I know. But I don't really want to take any risks. Something scary this way comes. Great. Phyrexian Rager we can unearth. That's cool. That has trample. That's more than enough damage. Great. Unfortunately, guys, that's all the time we have for gameplay today, but we had an absolutely fantastic deck full of consistency and lots of removal to go around, so I'm pretty happy with it. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know what you guys thought of the deck and the format as a whole. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!